Nano Machine is the manhwa adaptation of some Chinese light novel I never heard about. I am not motivated to dig into this medium since from what I've tried out so far, they are all power fantasies with crappy writing. This one here is no exception. It begins with assassins chasing and wanting to kill the protagonist. I wonder what kind of logical thing is going to happen for his life to be saved. Out of nowhere, a badass comes from the future to plot armor the guy, butchers the assassins with hack superpowers, gives him nanomachines that will make him overpowered without any effort, and then goes back to his time. What a wonderful way of telling you this is not gonna be a serious period drama, it's mindless rule of cool. I like how it's in color and has a very cinematic feel during the action parts, but the exposition is too much. Entire chapters can be just huge info dumps where nothing is happening and the characters are just talking about what is something and how it works. This automatically makes it impossible to be adapted faithfully, since if they keep everything in, the audience will get bored after 30-minute long explanations, and if they take out most of the talking so the plot will move faster, the audience will have no idea what is going on, which is why you should be showing what is going on as the plot moves on, not having someone sitting down and flapping his mouth while nothing is going on around him. Another issue is how it plays out like a video game. Oh ho ho, did you see that coming? The protagonist learns new moves by downloading information or scanning fighting styles and books. Also, everyone has a character class, and abilities have levels of proficiency. And there is a tournament arc with unlockable stages. And every time you pass a stage, your statistics go up. Boy, someone is hoping for his story to become a video game and does all he can so that the skill tree is clear as day. As you can imagine, there is no challenge that can threaten the protagonist. While everyone else has to try really hard to pass the tests, he just uses the nanomachines to give him God mode and thus an easy way to win. The only times he gets injured and needs time to recover is when he deliberately doesn't let the nanomachines to heal or to plot armor him, just so the teachers won't get suspicious of his cheating. And yes, it is cheating when you have a clear advantage nobody else has, and you deliberately keep it a secret, so only you will be able to use it. Anyways, the next test requires from the students to form groups and establish leaders, all of which are done by the instructors being absent, so the students will fight each other. This information is told to us, it is not shown, because why would we get a very interesting scene in a comic that is supposed to show us things? Just mention it and call it a day. The next challenge is the protagonist facing a proficient enough fighter who is better than all the skills he has copied or downloaded so far. He even openly tells him that all he's doing is copying skills without knowing the limits of his own body. Why couldn't we get that sooner? How hard is it to challenge this stupid video game logic of modern stories, where mastering an ability is nothing more than pressing a few buttons or downloading a file? Do you actually understand what it means, or are you just using it like a monkey, imitating human activities? All the comic has to do is to not backpedal and use the very thing that is not supposed to be working against actual battle experience. And then it does exactly that. The nanomachines offer augmented reality, where he can gain experience by safely playing a video game. He uses that for a training by himself in simulated duels, with holograms that copy the moves of a fighter he scanned. What follows that are duels among the students, and it's completely dull. None of these people were built up as important. They are generic students with very simple goals, and they exist as nothing more than excuses for the protagonist to get stronger by scanning their abilities. And this here is basically why such stories will never manage to win your average manga fan. Despite being in color and having amazing visual effects, the characters are flat and forgettable. Your average shonen character has vivid personality, specific motivations, and memorable gimmicks. Absolutely nobody in this webcomic feels like that, not even the protagonist. They are so simple, they feel like NPCs in an average fighting shonen. The kind of people the protagonist comes in, kicks around in a few pages, and then walks away to the actual plot. So basically, as much as I like the visuals, I don't give a crap about anything else. It's not like the writing is doing something for changing my mind. There is a scene the protagonist faces the guy who killed his mother with poison. It's supposed to be a retribution moment, but it falls completely flat for the simple fact we hardly saw his mother. It's all mentioned in a short flashback, thus it becomes impossible for the reader to care about that character. Along with it, the revenge porn that comes afterwards has no emotional gravity. The protagonist gets poisoned as well. What does he do in order to find the antidote? Nothing. The Nano Machines heal him in seconds. And then he kicks the living crap out of the guy with martial arts that he got by, you got it, the Nano Machines. There is nothing to worry or even care about because of them, and they happen to be the title of this boring comic. Anyways, then for some reason the protagonist feels remorse for what he did. It was a mistake to let his anger almost kill the guy who murdered his mother and practically him as well if he wasn't plot armored. He should forgive that one-dimensional evil assassin, use the nanomachines to make him a medicine so he can heal faster, and then to ask for his forgiveness. What kind of moralistic horseshit is this? I won't kill you because I will become like you. Only works if you plan to murder his entire family out of spite or some crap. If the only thing you did was to defend yourself against someone who murdered your mother, is about to kill you as well, and he is laughing about it, you're not going to become like him. But even if we disregard this issue, the reader doesn't give a shit about the situation. The only thing we know about the assassin is that he is a complete asshole. He was written to be hated. As for the protagonist, we never got much insight to his personality, because he doesn't have much of that. Seeing him feeling guilty over what happened is not excused, since up until now we never saw him being a person who doesn't like murder. It's clearly the author retroactively trying to excuse it, because he didn't want his audience to think he writes about a sociopath who murders people and feels nothing about it. If he had bothered to give him more personality, this wouldn't be a problem. Instead of that, we got backwards reasoning, where he is sent to detention for the crime of defending himself from a killer sociopath. Funnily enough, being in detention is a nice excuse for the protagonist to begin feeling remorse because he got punished. But that did not happen. He felt remorse even without being punished, and the detention he was sent to was only used as an excuse to find a secret chamber with more writings he can scan for becoming even more powerful. So basically his punishment was only an excuse for a lazy power-up, and he learned nothing new from this whole situation. What a lazily written pile of shit. So the MC becomes powerful enough to have a duel with a teacher. This guy is supposed to be close to epic levels, and despite the non-stop level ups, should still pose an actual threat. What is the outcome of the duel? The teacher giving up because he likes seeing the MC improving every day. Not only that, he approves of him becoming a team leader. So basically the MC got validated for having a broken power he did nothing in order to gain, and with which he easily overcomes every problem. I am sure a lot of idiots out there will keep on defending this bullshit by saying he worked hard in order to make good use of his broken power. If he was lazy, he would never become so powerful. That crap does not fly, since he would be dead 100 times so far without the broken power. In fact, he's constantly saved by the nanomachines, even if he doesn't do anything, because they trigger automatically. There is no hard work here, since the nanomachines don't improve as he becomes stronger. They are maxed out from the very beginning, therefore it's lazy plot armor that nobody else is allowed to have. Furthermore, he hasn't told anyone about the nanomachines, thus he makes himself seem like someone who really tries hard to overcome every challenge. Although that is not what happens. He cheats since he doesn't use a technique the rest know anything about or have the slightest defense against. If his teacher knew about it, he wouldn't be congratulating him, he would have kicked him out of the academy for being a cheater. But such a thing will never happen because it's a trashy power fantasy about someone getting everything on a silver platter. Look at these people swearing to be his servants. Imagine the boner the reader is supposed to be getting every time this happens. Oh man, this is so cool. He has so much power, he makes everyone to bow before him. I wish I was like him. 10 out of 10 comic. And it doesn't stop there. The writing is so cheap whenever the protagonist's opponents are doing the exact same thing he does. It's always presented as evil. What? He forces people to be his servants? He lied for deceiving his enemies? He beats up a defenseless opponent who couldn't fight back? This is so evil. Although for some reason when the hero does it, it's fine. He deserves to be vicious because he's the protagonist. I mean, if you saw this guy without knowing who he is, commanding his minions to break the arms and legs of everyone, would you think he's the protagonist or the main villain? He's constantly trying to excuse it by saying he's treating them the same way they treat others. But if an eye for an eye is the type of justice he's going for, how is he any better than them? It's obvious justice porn. Anyways, he just powers through every test and much faster than everyone else. The last one expects from him to be in the top 100 strongest people of his cult. I don't remember ever mentioning how many they are in total, but they have a linear hierarchy when it comes to martial arts, and you achieve the next rank by passing the tests. Weirdly enough, you are not allowed to retake the test. If you fail, they give you a position that fits the rank you have and leave you there. That's kind of a bummer. How do you rank up or get a promotion after that? The story doesn't explain it, but it will be really weird if there isn't one. People won't be motivated to try harder if they know they can't get higher than the point where they failed the first time. Anyways, there is a training montage after that, where years pass and various cadets pass the tests. Did they pass because they were talented? No, they passed because they were allowed to study. I am not joking. The academy allows them to read a book from the library only for a few hours. If that is not enough to memorize everything, tough luck. Meanwhile, the protagonist's team had no problem to learn the special moves, because his nano machines scanned every page of every book and then he wrote copies of them. That's how they passed. Essentially, the educational system of this setting is nothing more than a memory game. It doesn't matter how good you are at martial arts. If you can't memorize entire books in a few hours, you can't pass the test, and you are stuck with a crappy job for the rest of your life. There is also the second method, which is someone in your team having photographic memory, so he can easily make copies and share them around so everyone can learn the martial arts without trying. There is no meritocracy, it's all based on how good you are at one specific skill, and then it's pure luck if someone else has that skill and helps you out. That someone definitely doesn't have to be a teacher, it has to be another student. The teachers in the school don't teach you anything, supposed because you have to beat them in order to pass the test. For that reason, you have to get better on your own, or just to copy the notes from another student. What kind of educational system is this? Anyways, after school time is over, the clans try to kill the protagonist so he won't gain any more power. He obviously survives and turns things around with his broken nano machines. There are a few mind games he's playing on his enemies, such as killing those who attacked him and throwing the blame on a different clan so they will start fighting each other. When a clan leader tries to extort him by abducting people he cares about, he does the same to her son, and when a rescue party is sent to take back the son, the protagonist alerts the teachers in the academy for making it seem like the clan attacked them without provocation for getting all the blame. Such tricks are nice to have, but they are done from a position of power. The protagonist can do those mind games not because he is that cunning, but because he has a power they can't defend against. Thus, despite the attempt to have intrigue and conspiracies, they fall flat when you know the bad guys can't defeat him no matter what they do. And I have to stress how the author keeps trying to frame every event as letting the villain to taste his own medicine, meaning it's not evil, it's justice for something evil the other guy did. Oh, I didn't want to hurt you, you attacked me. Oh, I didn't want to kill your son, but you already killed someone I care about. Oh, I didn't want to boil alive your entire family before feeding them to the dogs and burning down your ancestral home. It's what you would have done to me. It's an eye for an eye, mate. Don't try to sugarcoat it and give your audience the wrong message. Especially when you give the protagonist the moral high ground since the very first chapter. It's revenge porn masking itself as justice. The protagonist is as vile as the villains he is punishing. After a series of inhumane manipulations where he uses the same tactics as the people he opposes, killing entire families and poisoning the aristocrats with a bug that can kill them if they disagree, he becomes the lord of the tribe. And he doesn't feel bad for what he does anymore, he always has the same face as the one-dimensional evil bad guys he fights. Although a lot of highly skilled warriors constantly try to kill him, as always, he is never in any real danger because the Nano Machines give him super abilities nobody else has any defense against, and even go as far as giving him power-ups whenever he is cornered. Thus, regardless of how powerful they are, they all predictably lose, get killed, or join his side out of fear. This should have been the point where the story ends, since he reached the level of Grandmaster in martial arts, became the leader of the tribe, and avenged the death of his mother. But the writer didn't want to end the story, so he wrote a convoluted continuation about more tribes in the area, with more Grandmasters who have their own conflicts. It no longer has any personal investment on part of the protagonist, since he achieved his objective and he's now just meddling with the affairs of others. There are zero stakes, since he's over-leveled and thus all his opponents are always ants before him, and he doesn't feel any remorse for all the terrible things he keeps doing to other people. It's just dozens upon dozens of chapters of him steamrolling everything and everyone, with his minions never questioning his actions and always being amazed with how awesome he is. So yeah, the author is just winging it at this point. There is no sense of drama or a remorse, and it doesn't even have to do with the original plot. It's where I stopped caring anymore and didn't read any further.